Yeah, this one's got some tables and chairs, and it's got the bunks in here. So it looks like it might be where we're going to be sleeping if we sleep, and possibly a good place to set up. So we'll get the stuff and bring it in here. Hi everybody, I'm Jeff with Virginia Paranormal Investigations, and today we're down here at Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia for an overnight investigation. Now, we've heard some of the ghost stories, right? And Lyndon took a lot of notes on that. Scott knows a lot of the history of it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set up, and we're here in the barracks room, which, as you saw in the video, has all the bunks and has a couple tables. This is pretty much going to be our base station for the night. So we're going to keep you in tune as we go along. Right now we're going to explore around a little bit and kind of show you what it looks like during the daylight hours. Because once it gets too dark, it'll be creepy, yes, but you won't be able to see the full overview of what it looks like. We do have some planes, yes, flying over us, being near the airport and such. To add about this investigation?
I got nothing.
No, just that we're really excited, and if it is extremely hot out here, so but if you can find a nice cool day perhaps to come out here and visit, you definitely should. A lot of history here.
Absolutely, and it has been labeled the most haunted place in the country by a couple sources that we found, so we'll see tonight.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. I have a little trouble opening up these packaging things, but you know, you get used to it after a while. I'm pretty excited. I really want to just jump into this, and sometimes I kind of want to wander off by myself in a Civil War uniform. You never know what could happen. It's kind of a new way we're going to go about things, and we like to try different techniques every now and then. See, we got the static ball. This has a speaker on it, but I figured the static ball would. I figured the spirits might be kind of interested with that. You know, you could touch it, and maybe they'll touch it themselves. Who knows? So we're going to try that, experiment that, and. I'm just excited about the history of this place. Wow, this is amazing. It's like a lot going on here. I can feel, as far as feelings, I'm just really hot and sweaty, but I can feel kind of a somber, kind of a downer feeling. Then for a second I had a little headache, but I think that's because I was dehydrated. But I can, spiritually, I can kind of feel something going on, and it should be a pretty active night. I'm pretty excited.
So I am here setting up our DVR system. We have not used this on an investigation before, so we're really excited to have it. It has 100-foot night vision, so we should be able to see pretty clearly. We have two cameras that are going to extend out about 160 feet. We have two cameras that are only going to go about 60 feet. So, and we have a nice large 32-inch monitor that we're going to be able to monitor all of the feeds with. And there's going to be no audio attached with those, but you know, that's fine. We also have two trail cameras that we plan on setting up, at least one of, somewhere in the area as well. So we should be able to get a good video feed from all of the hot spots.
All right, so I'm really excited to be here. Like we said earlier, this is labeled one of the, if not the most haunted places in the country. One of the sources said it was the most haunted. I know several ghost hunting groups and paranormal teams have come here and gotten some awesome results. So I'm really excited to see what will turn up. We're going to be using some cool stuff that we haven't really used before. More advanced surveillance system than our previous one, which was VCRs and VHS tapes, and we finally upgraded, so I'm excited about that. We're also going to try something a little bit new since we have a plethora of time here. I'm going to set up a computer, and we're going to load some of the pictures in there as we go along and kind of scan over them and see if there's any anomalies in any places that we need to hit again. So really excited. I'm trying to hurry up and get this stuff set up because, you know, I'm craving a Philly cheesesteak And what better place for a Philly cheesesteak than Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, right here today. All right, so we got all our equipment laid out here and inventoried. And right now we're working on setting up the DVR system and the cameras.
Or is it base mates as in artillery base?
I don't know, it does have number 11, and I think,
It has 11. And then I'm
Yeah.
not sure if, maybe we have to.
but it does have casemate 11.
Aha.
It's number 16.
16.
So where's 16? Oh, 16 is in here. I guess is that.
So we're thinking of setting up one camera in casemate 11. Casemate 11 has, it's got a good bit of hauntings. That's where the people that were held here, it was like the solitary confinement cell. And there's two famous ghosts that were held there. One was William Ho was held there after he was, or before he was hung. So we'll go into that story a little bit more later on. But casemate 11, a hot spot for paranormal activity, and probably a good place for us to set up a surveillance camera.
Absolutely.
It's when we're
Right.
walking around in the field at night, try not to stumble over anything. And here we go. There's our 60 feet right there.
All right, so that's 60 feet.
Yep.
That's a short 60 feet. You know, the cords I have for those other cameras must be longer than that.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because those cords on the other ones do seem quite a bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, we ran them all the way upstairs in St. Albans and
Right.
some other places, but
Yeah, let's see if we can.
so just to kind of give you an overview here, those are some of the old buildings that sit here on Fort Mifflin, and this one right in front of us here, those are old barracks, and that's where we have our base station set up. That's where we'll be monitoring the surveillance cameras and be staging all our equipment and such. They have the gift shop over there, and then of course we got Scott and Linda out there in the field setting up. Scott doing the running man pose. And some more old structures that sit here on Fort Mifflin. Oh, this looks interesting.
Yes, it does. Is this entrance the casement, maybe?
Yeah, this is part of it. Sure, we got some different little various rooms throughout here. This is going to be quite a place, I'll tell you what, especially at night. I'd even be interested to turn these lights out and wander around here, see what we can see.
Yeah, this is going to be one creepy place at night.
It sure is.
But at least with the acoustics in here, we should be able to hear a pin drop, you know?
That's right. Yeah, you really should. They have all these long little rooms that go down there.
I believe these were all used as prison cells, weren't they?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, they definitely look like they were living quarters with the old stoves in them. This one
Yeah.
has bunks in there.
Yeah, I think they said there was something about the design of the place with the rounded top, the barrel vault, that they thought would be the perfect design to keep prisoners inside. So, and it makes sense because they have like tiny little windows, but they're very high. So nobody could ever get out of those things.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I think this was prison.
So what do we got
cells.
here?
We have a lot of what they would consider bunks at the time. And again, lots of little small window openings there, just to let in a little bit of extra light. There's a giant fireplace here that would have been, I'm sure, used for heating, keeping it a little bit warmer in the wintertime. And what looks like one of the original doors. You can see that they've built a new door onto the opening of this particular cell.
Does look like a very old door, that's for sure.
Yes. I'm not sure this was the door to this particular cell because it looks a little bit too small for it.
That building over there is the office, which I believe that was also used as a hospital, if I'm not mistaken. So what'd you find? Anything interesting? Oh, this is the front gate.
Main gate. Yeah. This was used for mortars during the first battle here, which I think it was the only battle here. And so, yeah, I found a nice breeze over here. Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
I found some grills.
Yeah, nice little picnic grove they got here.
Yeah.
Did you see anything down over the railing there? Can you see the river from here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool, cool. Well, let's go take a view while it's still light out. You get a chance to go down and explore that?
Hell no.
Is that sign language for river?
Very historic river. All right. The history these waters have seen. Right?
Yeah, well, I'm not ready to say the story yet, but from what I gathered from the buy stand there was 2 British ships, not sure what kind, but they're right in this area, and then most of them were encircling this front area down that way, down the river, almost trying to get a encircling as much as they could situation. And this is called Hog Island, and it tells pretty good stories on the wayside thing here. So I gotta refresh my memory, and I'll tell it to you another time.
Cool. So let's see what this little creepy doorway is down here, shall we? Alright, so what do you got down there? It says powder room floor restored September 2009. So
It just winds back in here.
should be somewhat restored. It's wooden.
Yes. Ooh, and it's nice and cold back in here.
And this is it. Just a small little powder room.
Yeah.
The kind for gunpowder, not exactly for ladies. Ooh, bugs. The bugs are all over the wall. Crickets. Crickets all over. That's a cool little place, though, that's for sure. All right, so we got some cameras rolling. We got about 3 of them rolling. And a little bit about where they are.
Well, at the moment, we're setting them up temporarily so that we can just monitor the activity while we go to eat some dinner. So we have one of them that's pointing inside the room here. We figured that if anything comes in and might be curious while we're gone, curious about what's going on and want to look at all the equipment and everything laid out. So we've pointed one inside here. I've also pointed one out this side door here that leads into another door into another part of the building here, another part of the barracks. So we can monitor if there's any movement or anything over in that area as well. The third camera, which is on channel 4, it just picked up an airplane. I'm not exactly sure where that's pointing. It's pointing up into the sky and up above some buildings.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to adjust that one a
adjust
little bit. It
that.
appears to be going up above the barracks or the gift shop, maybe.
Right.
We'll have to adjust that. Once we get the walkie-talkies up and running, it's going to take a little bit of charging for them.
Yes.
But once we get them up and running, we'll be able to communicate with each other better and probably go establish good viewpoints for the cameras. And here we have a view of the fort from on top of its walls. That's the building that we're set up in, our base station. And as you can see over this way, we got the airport in the background there, and hopefully that'll be quieting down. I think they said around 11 it should quiet down. So, a beautiful view of the river from up here. And off in the distance, there's the skyline of Philadelphia. And what's cool about this fort too is not only the very old buildings that stand here, but they have a bunch of little tunnels that go into magazines and throughout the casemate. And I noticed when I was walking around the top of the battery earlier that I saw something over here. And oh man, that's pretty cool. But it looks like it goes out to the other side actually, another gate to the fort that perhaps is lesser traveled. And one place that we're going to keep an eye on tonight is the officers' quarters right here. There have been sightings of a spirit on the top porch, and they believe it's the ghost of a lamplighter. They see him going around holding a pole with a dimly lit flame on the end of it. And we're going to talk about our camera placement and see if we can perhaps catch something on video tonight. Alright, so we're getting ready to kick off the investigation here. We got all the cameras set up and in place. And our first point of interest is going to be the arsenal.
Yeah, the arsenal, it was built in 1816, has 4-foot thick walls. It was used originally as a guard house and a prison. And there's little circular windows, like openings at the bottom with metal bars for air circulation. And we don't know any stories of actual individual stories within there, but we're going to go take a look at it and see if we can get a question and answer session going. The acoustics in there might be echoey, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Do you know the ghost story with the arsenal?
Which one's the arsenal?
So this one?
I don't know that there is a ghost story
know if they had
associated
one.
with it. They didn't actually specify that there was anything associated with it, so I don't know. We're just going to have to check and see. We'll do the flashlights, do an EVP session, maybe play around with our new Bluetooth static ball attached to the spirit box and see what we can get.
Alright, let's check it out.
This thing does some awesome pictures on this night mode. Some really cool pictures of those things.
So as you can see here in the arsenal, it's 83% humidity and 79 degrees. Very uncomfortable.
So we have a flashlight session going here. Scott is setting the flashlights so that they will turn on and off. And I believe we have the blue one that we're on top of what looks like they might be bunks over here.
That's the right one.
Is that the red one?
Yeah.
The blue one is on the barrels, in the far corner. And he has the silver one set on top of the cannon at the center of the room. We would like to know if anyone is here with us. We don't mean you any harm. We simply want to communicate with you. We have these metal sticks set around the room. And if you tap on the front of one of these metal sticks, a light will come on. We have a silver metal stick, we have a red one, and a blue one. Can you make one of the lights come on? Pick any one you want. Someone's here with this. Can you please make one of the lights come on?
Are any of you in here soldiers? If you are, touch the blue one on the barrel right over there.
Okay, we also have this black box. If you speak into that little black box, it can record your voice.
Okay.
Can you tell us if someone is here?
My name is Scott. What is your name? What was your business here?
All right, so we did the flashlight session in here, we did an EVP session, and we turned on the spirit box and tried it with our new Bluetooth static ball. And we didn't really get anything conclusive. For a little while there, we thought maybe we were hearing a few things through the static ball. So we'll have to kind of review and see if what we heard is actually what we heard. But the flashlights didn't come on at all. And overall, I mean, it is very quiet in here and it feels very peaceful. And there really aren't any ghost stories associated with this place, so perhaps this building is not haunted.
I concur. Yeah, it was just, I never got any kind of feeling of anything other than humidity and sweat. But yeah, not much going on in here. Maybe heard a name Gabe or Dave or Abe. But I don't know. I don't think anything's in here.
Okay, so we're leaving the arsenal, and where are we headed to now?
Well, this here is the torpedo place where they kept the torpedoes and eventually fired them. Not sure what year that was, but up on top is a pretty high vantage point, so we're gonna go up there and check it out.
All right, awesome. So there's Philadelphia over in that direction, but it seems too cloudy to get a good view of the city from here. Panning around, we got the airport over in that direction.
So here we are on top of the torpedo encasement. It's a nice vantage point. We used to be able to see the city, but it's cloudy. So, but we have a really good aerial type eagle eye view up here. And what I did is I posted some flashlights up here, and this is allegedly where the TAPS people saw some shadows around this area. And this is right above the what is it, encasement 11?
Yeah, encasement 11.
And we got some stuff set up in there. So we're gonna do a little question and answer session, hopefully a little more successful than the arsenal, and then we'll move on, see what happens. So,
All right, so we have these flashlights set up, 3 of them. We'd like to know if there's anybody here with us. If there is, can you turn on one of these flashlights? All you have to do is just tap the front of it, and it should come on. It should light up. and that will let us know that you're here. Can you tap one of these flashlights for us, please? Now, we don't mean to trespass or intrude or to be here unwanted or to be on your territory or anything like that. We just heard that there was somebody here, and we want to know if there is, and if there's anything we can do to help you, and if there's any messages you have for us.
There's a red one here on this post. There's a blue one over there. And a silver one right over there. Anybody interested in talking with us, feel free to touch one of these and they'll light up. We can do a yes/no answer session. If you'd like to discuss anything, if anybody's around here, please touch one so we can establish that you are actually here talking to us, other than mosquitoes.
I think these mosquitoes are big enough to activate the flashlights.
Probably. And also what we have here is a cool little electrical globe. And if you touch it, it captures your electrical pulse. And we might be able to see if you want to do that. You can touch this. I'll just leave you here.
Can a red flashlight maybe a little bit easier now? Can you turn on the red flashlight for us, please? Just tap the end of it. To let us know that you're here.
Are you a Revolutionary War soldier? If you are, turn on one of these lights.
I don't think we're getting anything from these flashlights
Yeah.
up here. And I know that one's easy to turn on. I tapped it and it came on and went off by itself. So
Yeah.
for some reason, there's not a lot of activity here today. At least up here or in the arsenal. What do you want to try?
Oh, hello.
Well,
There
we
we
have a
go.
flashlight coming on. Okay, if that is you, can you turn that flashlight off for us, please? Can you turn it off? Okay, thank you. I would just like to make sure that we have a connection established here of some sort. Especially if that's the only flashlight that's going to work. Can you turn on that red flashlight one more time for us to let us know that you're here? The one you just turned on. Could you perhaps make it glow again for us? Okay, we've noticed it's been very quiet. If you would like us to just leave this area right here, how about could you turn that on for us, and then we'll leave you alone. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think the light just turned on again.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Sometimes it takes a moment or two for the flashlights to respond or for the spirits to respond. We've seen this before. And it immediately turned back off again.
We'll try the electrical ball.
There's the red one.
Okay.
So my guess is going to be that we don't have a connection here because everything seems fairly random. It doesn't seem like anything's coming on command. You know, we like to establish a connection and make sure that we are actually talking to an entity, and that these flashlights aren't just coming on at random, which they do tend to do if they're, set loosely. They tend to come on because it's not at a point where you have to turn it a lot to make it come on. It's just a light tap, and just with the spring barely touching the battery, sometimes they illuminate and fade out and fade in and fade out. And that could very well be what's going on here tonight. At least that's my theory. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. No consistency, so if something's here, they're just not being cooperative. And they don't like the little ball here. See, see, this could establish something if all your fingers are right up here. They kind of go up to the top. But nobody seems to want to touch it.
Okay, so we're about to go to casemate 11, and casemate 11 is where William Howe, and another man named Bernard Devlin are thought to haunt the area. Now, William Howe was the one who was brought here. He had killed somebody, I believe it was an officer, and they brought him here and put him in casemate 11, which was used as solitary confinement at that time. And now he's said to haunt the area because he was the only person to be executed here at Fort Mifflin.
And they think he's the faceless man because they would have put a burlap bag over his head, and so people can't seem to make out his face whenever they see an apparition. But he was hanged somewhere. We don't know specifically where, if they actually made the gallows or if it was from a little lift on the side of this building. But yeah, we're hoping to be able to communicate with them in there.
So I think it would be pretty natural for it to be misty in here. Didn't they say at one time it was, they kept seeing mists, or was it, that was in casemate 5, wasn't it?
That was in 5, yeah.
But I could see where it would be misty anyways, just because of the, and when it's so, moist in here. You can literally, you can feel the walls are all wet,
Yeah.
so.
So here we are in casement 11. We got the silver flashlight in this hole, blue flashlight in that hole, and a red flashlight in the big hole, along with the ball. And we're going to conduct a question and answer session, and possibly with William Howe, because this is believed to be where he was kept in solitary confinement. So, if anybody is in here other than us, will you touch one of these flashlights? You have a red one, blue one, and a silver one. So if anybody is in here, will you make yourself known to us by either touching the ball or any of these flashlights? So we just want to establish a line of communication, and the way we can communicate is just by touching either the silver light or the blue light or the red light. These are flashlights. Might be like little sticks to you, metal sticks. Is William Howe in here? If you are here, please touch the blue flashlight.
There's the silver one that just went on, just for a second.
Oh. Wasn't watching it. Did you just touch the silver flashlight? Yes. All right. Okay. Okay. Getting something. If your name is William, how will you touch the silver flashlight again? If you are a prisoner who is confined in this casement, can you let us know by touching any of these flashlights? Or the static ball?
Silver.
Will you shut that off for us, please? So we can continue with this conversation. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? you wanna ask?
We need to establish that we're actually communicating with someone, because these metal sticks with the light on them will often turn on and off by themselves. So we need you to try to turn the light on one of the other ones, either the red one or the blue one. Can you try to do that for us?
Something just came on. That blue flashlight right there by the ball came on.
And
The
the
red
red one,
flashlight came on.
all of them are kind of going on right now.
Oh, that freaked me out. I saw the light behind me for some reason.
If you could say your name, speak it, and we might be able to pick it up on his voice box. What is your name?
Is that you turning on the red flashlight again? Can you turn it off for us? Okay. Would you like us to leave? If you would like us to leave, turn on the blue flashlight. If you would like us to stay, turn on the silver flashlight.
Well, it seems like we got somewhat of an established communication in there. We had all three flashlights, separate holes, and as far as we got, if we're even communicating correctly, it was a revolutionary era spirit we were talking to. The session was pretty rough. It wasn't going too well, but eventually all three flashlights were going on and off, but not in a very consistent answering way. So it's hard to tell if we were actually communicating. And the voice box, well, that was there's just no reception for radio in there, so that didn't work. And the static ball still doesn't
Well,
work.
one thing that I thought was interesting as well, we were attempting to get some communication. It seemed like whoever we were speaking to was not either of the people that they claim has haunted this area. It didn't appear to be Bernard Devlin or William Howe. So we're not sure exactly who we were talking to. It could have been just some random soldier that was killed here at one time. So who knows?
If you noticed in the video, in casemate 11, we positioned a camera. It's a camcorder with infrared night vision on it. So it's sitting on a tripod there in the corner in pitch black. And I will be interested to see if that's picked anything up, because you always wonder what happens when you're not there. And with this camera, it's been going since we started the investigation around 11:30, 12 o'clock. And I'll be interested in seeing the footage from that as well, just to see.
So here we are at the Commandant's house, also sometimes called the former Citadel. The structure was built in 1796 as a one-story citadel for the fort, designed by El Infant. It was basically used as a last stand defensive bastion, but it never did because the foot soldiers never invaded that way. It was already pretty much evacuated. So recent investigations have revealed 45 gun portals hidden in the walls, and so that's what it was identified as a last bastion. I don't have any haunted stories on this place. Linda might, but we're not sure what all we're gonna find in here. So we'll take a gander.
So as far as we have been told, there are no reports of paranormal activity here. But of course, we want to leave no stone unturned. So we're going to go in here and do what we have done in all the other areas and see if we can get some results.
And let's take a look inside here. Quite a place, a big place. Not restored, as you can see. They have a little platform we can walk out on here, but the ground or the floor is gone. You can see the ground through it, and another fireplace over here, perhaps. But really cool old place. 1776, is that what you said when it was built?
1796, I think.
1796, nonetheless, in the late 1700s, so it stood here a long time. And it'll be interesting to see if we can pick up any kind of activity here. All right, so we're here in the Citadel, and we have some flashlights placed, 3 flashlights. Which colors?
We got red here, silver there, blue there, right?
Silver here.
Silver here, yeah, so that must be the blue one.
That's the blue one.
Okay, and some of them are already coming on already. But let's try to, I'm going to start this recording here, the EVP. And here we are, I'm Jeff.
I'm Scott.
And we want to know if there's anyone here with us, besides the 3 of us, myself, Scott, and Linda. We'd like to know if there's anybody here that would like to talk to us or tell us anything. We have this recorder going here, which could possibly record your voice if you attempt to talk to us, even though we may not hear it. This may. Can you tell us what your name is? Where are you from? We have a couple of flashlights placed throughout, as I said. Can you touch one of these flashlights to let us know that you're here? Yeah, we got that one coming on. Right, thank you. Can you turn that flashlight off for us, please? I think we just may have a malfunction with that one.
Yeah.
How about one of these other flashlights? Can you turn one of these other flashlights on for us? Either one of your choosing. Could you please turn one on? There's one over here, and there's one over here. If you could turn either one of those flashlights on, please. Well, I gotta say the Citadel didn't seem very active at first glance. There were some flashlights that were coming on and going off, but they didn't seem to be in response to any of our questions. Once again, I think it's just all natural causes because, like I said, when the flashlights sit for a while, sometimes, depending on how they're adjusted, they will come on and off on their own. And I feel that's what was happening there because it didn't seem to respond to any of our questions. We did do an EVP session. We won't find out about that until later on when we analyze that. And we did do a spirit box session. What are your thoughts?
Well, we heard the name Gabe again, so, or Dave, something that has an A on it. But yeah, we still tried the static ball. Nobody touched it that we know of, and the spirit box was not really responsive. We might have made out a few words here and there, but it was largely not responsive, and so I don't think much is going on in this building either. So I saw something like as you were taking the flash, I saw it in here.
So we're here in what they call the artillery shed. And as you might be able to see behind us, there's still some cannons and some things sitting around. This reports are of hearing a dog barking back here, and also of hearing children's voices back here. So we are going to kind of sit back here and see if we can hear some of those things. And we also have to keep in mind that there are two women, supposedly, with the first name Elizabeth Pratt, and Elizabeth Bunker. Elizabeth Pratt was supposedly, her two children had died here around 1802, and Elizabeth Bunker had died about 1863. But both women are thought to be what they call the screaming ladies of Fort Mifflin. Their screams or their cries have been heard echoing throughout the area. So we're going to keep an eye or an ear out for that as well.
I've also heard, I don't remember the exact place that I heard it, that one explanation or one reason for these screams that they hear, that they label the screaming woman, is actually the mournful cries of the women who lost their husbands when the fort was bombarded by the British. So there's a couple different theories about what the screaming is, and that one that I just said is more of a lesser known one, I guess, because it seems to be more focused on Elizabeth Pratt, seems to be the main suspect, if you will, for the source of the screaming woman. So let's take it out and see what we can find. All right, so we did a stakeout back there by the artillery stables, or what do they call it?
Shed.
The artillery shed. And we sat there for a while. We listened. Linda ran the recorder and asked some questions. But unfortunately, we did not hear the screaming woman or women, whatever they may be. What are your general feelings from back at this location?
Well, I don't know. We didn't do a flashlight session, and we didn't do the spirit box session, so we just tried to rely solely upon the digital voice recorder, and hopefully we can get something out of there. But you never know what we might be able to pick up on the digital voice recorder that we didn't pick up otherwise. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
And I start falling asleep, but I didn't hear anything. It's about the hour where I start getting loopy, tired. So I was trying to listen for things, but so I closed my eyes to concentrate harder, but I didn't hear anything. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully we pick something up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a break and resume with, I believe, the blacksmith shop. And Scott or Linda, whoever's awake at that point, will probably tell you the story of the blacksmith shop. So here we go. What happened?
Something just made a really loud noise over at the officers' quarters while I was sitting here on the bench and you guys were inside. And what it sounded like a high-pitched squeak followed by a thump. Immediately followed by a thump.
Well, let's go check this out.
Okay. Because it did literally sound like one of those old doors, maybe.
What? Maybe it's a shutter?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we know that these doors are all deadbolted, right?
Yeah.
The one on the second floor that bolted?
No. The one on the second floor is not deadbolted.
Were these shutter holes like this?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like what?
See, on this window, there's one shutter shut and one open.
Upstairs,
Which window upstairs?
Yep, on the second floor window, right straight up here.
one's open. Maybe that one's open.
I know.
I don't recall.
I don't either. It doesn't sound like a strong enough breeze.
We'll have to look at the cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's definitely what it sounded like, is a door or a shutter squeaking and something.
Let's check the door over here. It was the only door that was unlocked. Now there's something interesting.
That,
The sound that the wind makes
Yeah.
blowing through here.
oh, yeah, that's...
I wonder if that gets loud enough. Could that be what the screaming woman is?
It could be.
Yeah, if there's a
I
gust.
don't know. That would have to be quite loud.
And I mean, it's just a slight breeze right now. Imagine how windy it gets out here.
Right. Whatever it was, if something did move, whether it was a shutter or a door, it had to be captured on the videotape.
It would have to.
Especially that one that we have the camera set up on the upper floor there.
Oh yeah, definitely got one. Good one.
All right, so it's just after 5 a.m. and we're still going at it. We're about to go back to the blacksmith shop and see if we can find anything back there.
Alright, so we're about to go into the blacksmith shop. That's this building here behind us. It's small, but there are lots of rusty tools hanging in there. And it looks a lot the same as what you would imagine it would look, plus a lot of bird poop. So the story behind this place is that the blacksmith named Jacob still haunts the location. And supposedly they've heard lots of noises back here. And at one point, they came in to find that this door had been ripped off the hinges. And there's also stories that it's that Jacob just kind of hangs out still back here and makes a lot of noise and wreaks a lot of havoc. So tools have been moved and things of that nature. So we're going to see if we can go and contact Jacob.
All right, let's go into the blacksmith shop and see what spirits may linger within. We do have a trail cam in place there that would have picked up any motion. You can see how the birds get in. There's several holes up in the ceiling and such. As the morning light shining through.
Okay. See one spot here that's not covered in bird poop that I can set the digital voice recorder. So we're going to have that sitting here. Should we set some flashlights around?
Nah,
No,
probably not even a clean enough surface in here.
probably not, no. That's very true.
The less we have to wipe off, the better.
Yeah, boy, that's true.
Although actually, what's that brick look like over there? That might be a clean spot. There's one there as well. Nah, let's just go with the EVP session.
Yeah, that's not clean either. None of it is. Okay. So we'll start our EVP session here. We are in the blacksmith shop. My name is Linda,
Jeff.
and we would like to speak to Jacob. If Jacob the blacksmith is still here, we just want to communicate with you. We don't mean you any harm. We have this little black box here with the red light on it, and if you speak into that box, we can hear your voice. So if there is someone here with us, can you tell us your name, if it's not Jacob? Was this your workshop? What kind of tools did you make here? Did you supply the army with tools?
All right, so we're departing the blacksmith shop.
Yes, we are, and it's a good thing too, because we were getting a little bit sick from the smell in there. It's a very foul smell. There's a couple of dead birds laying around, in addition to just a thick coating of bird poop all over everything. So we did an EVP session, and we're going to have to analyze that to see if we got anything. But hopefully, Jacob was willing to speak to us. He certainly wasn't able to move any tools around or anything, or make any kind of noises. So we'll just have to analyze the audio and see.
Behind me here, we have the officers' quarters. And I mentioned the ghost story associated with it a little bit earlier in the night. But just to refresh, as we are getting ready to go in and investigate this location, one commonly seen apparition here is that of the lamplighter. And the old lamplighter is primarily seen on the second floor balcony. And he walks along as if he's still lighting the lamps with a long pole and a dim lit flame on the end. Alright, so the one portion of the second floor that we can get up to lies up these narrow stairs. So, perhaps you'd like to climb?
Okay.
What I'd like to know is how they moved furniture back in those days with stairs like these. It's very narrow. I can barely fit my foot on the step. And they had beds up here, I'm sure, at some point in time. Some old artifacts over here. But this is where we were earlier in the night. We're standing at the top of those stairs that we just came up, and Scott said something touched his shoulder. He wasn't sure what it was, but he felt some pressure on his shoulder. And this is what we have. Just some empty rooms. And perhaps that door that we passed goes out to the front porch.
So, it is fairly empty, as Jeff had mentioned. It's also very stuffy in here, but we'll find a place to set up and do an EVP session and maybe some flashlight session as well, and see what we can find.
Okay, so we did manage to get, the door does open, that comes out onto the balcony here. And here's a look at the fort from up on this level. And that mass on the bench, that would be Scott. Getting some sleep in. But this is the porch where the old lamplighter is seen lighting the lamps, as he did many, many years ago, back when they had oil lamps.
Yes. No lamps left here, but he probably sees them.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking what we're going to do here is go inside and do a flashlight session, because the planes have started up again. It's after 5 a.m. and they're going to be very loud and very frequent. So a flashlight session will be an easier way for a spirit that may linger to communicate with us. However, we got to keep in mind that the spirit that's here seems to be a residual haunting. So we may not get any activity at all, but nonetheless we're going to check it out.
So I've got a red flashlight set up here, and we'll get the silver one set up as well. We'll set the silver one up here on the fireplace mantle. And we also have the blue one. Maybe we'll just go ahead and set the blue one up next to the red one. So, blue on the left, red on the right, and then we have silver on the mantle.
You seem to be looking over to your left. Was there a reason?
No, it's just that that's kind of an empty room over there, and I don't know, it seems a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of creepy because it's dark and still shadowy in there.
Right,
So-
right. A lot of artifacts, old axes.
Yeah, and I
Except
think
looks
as
like
I
they dug
move,
up.
see, I've got these lights on my lenses here, and
Mm-hmm.
as I move, it makes shadows kind of shift around in there, so it's
Oh, I
creepy,
see.
so.
I see.
Okay. So we would like to know if there's anyone here with us right now. And if there is, we don't mean you any harm. We simply want to communicate with you. We have these metal sticks set up on the fireplace mantle and here on what looks like a windowsill. And if you touch one of these lights or one of these sticks, it'll make a light come on. That's what I heard earlier.
What is
today.
that?
I don't know, I think that might be one of the doors moving. That's the high-pitched squeak that I had heard while I was sitting down there.
It's not this door. It's Not that door.
No?
It was coming from down below.
Was it?
Yeah.
Sure it wasn't minutes?
Yeah. It wasn't that. It's not making a single noise. It didn't move that far. There's no way. It's still open.
Yeah, and it actually kind of takes a lot to push it open, so I don't know. But that is the noise. I had been sitting down on the bench not too far from where Scott has disappeared from. And everybody else was inside, and I specifically heard that high-pitched squeak with a thud afterwards. So, and it sounded like it came from the front of this building. And,
Yes. Now I was standing where I was standing. It sounded like it was coming from the
From
from
down
the first
below?
floor.
Perhaps it was.
But let's go back inside and just see what happens here.
So we just came from inside the officers' quarters, and indeed there were some really strange noises we kept hearing. There was some fluttering in the rafters, which we attributed to birds, because there's some holes in the ceiling, and there's some windows that are busted out. So it's very likely that birds could have gotten in there. But the other sounds that we were hearing, we could not quite figure out what those were. The squeaking sound, and it sounded like maybe one of the doors on the bottom floor here was opening and shutting. So it could be this was the lamplighter moving around downstairs while we were upstairs. We tried a flashlight session, and unfortunately it didn't really seem to be giving us a good definitive response. So we are going to now move on and see what else we can find.
I think it's important to keep in mind that with the officers' quarters, I don't know.
Sounded like a gunshot.
I don't know what that was. Birds all got
It-
shook up though.
Hmm.
Maybe someone's hunting outside the fort.
Yeah, in Philadelphia?
That's definitely a gunshot.
Huh.
Just hope they don't come in the back sally port over here and start popping them at us. I think that's a real gunshot. I don't really want to go, and
Do you think?
pretty sure.
It didn't sound like a normal pop, like a gunshot that we would hear from a pistol nowadays. That's the only reason
The acoustics are weird here then.
That's true.
I don't want to go investigate that because I don't want to get shot by a real gun in Philly. But nonetheless, we got to keep in mind that the spirit that is seen here is a residual haunting. So it's more likely that we would have picked him up on our cameras. Probably not one that's going to interact with us, but we figured we'd do a flashlight session anyway because the planes are taking off so frequently that we're not going to get a decent EVP session in, for one. And for two, you never know what else could still be lingering in there. Maybe the lamplighter is not the only spirit they see. Maybe it's not even a lamplighter. So like Linda said earlier, we don't want to leave any stone unturned. So we went in there and we did some video, we took some pictures, and we did a flashlight session. But nothing definitive, that's for sure.
So overall, I think this was an excellent investigation. It was an amazing experience to be able to come out here to this Revolutionary War era fort, and there's so much history here. You just have to figure that if there's going to be spirits lingering behind on this earth, it's going to be in a place like this. So we can't wait to get home, analyze all of the video from our new surveillance system, analyze the audio, and take a look and see if we captured anything.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 6:30 in the morning. We got here about 4:30 in the afternoon yesterday, and I have to say this was one of my favorite investigations. I love the locations where we're outdoors and we have the area to ourselves, just our team, for the entire night. This was a great mixture of outside locations and indoor locations. I love the creepy tunnels that go down to the magazines and such, and the solitary confinement cell. And though at first glance I can't say that I saw anything really paranormal here, perhaps our evidence review will turn up something different, and of course we'll post those results. Check out our website, vaparanormal.com. There were some incidents during the night that Linda heard a noise coming from the officers' quarters that we couldn't really find the source to, and we heard a similar noise when we were in there doing a flashlight session. It sounded like it was coming from downstairs. I don't know what the source of that was, because the doors downstairs are deadbolted, and it sounded like one of those doors opening and closing. And hopefully you can hear it here on the video. So, great investigation, and we're going to break down now, and we're going to get out of here. And by tonight, I'm going to be sitting at a campfire up in Hickory Run, just relaxing. And that will be our next destination.
Well, I didn't experience too much in person, per se, this evening, but I'm hoping we get some good reactions out of the videos and the recordings that we have. So, yeah, it was kind of quiet tonight, so we'll see what happens.